Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kate Borsato. I am a therapist for mums and mums-to-be, and I'm here to support women in this whole journey to motherhood. What's most important to me is that you stay connected to yourself and that you get through all of this and actually enjoy your life. So if you're new here, I would love for you to let me know who you are. Introduce yourself in the comments. Where are you from? What are you needing support with as well? I would love to know because I want to make videos that are useful for you. So let me know what you need and I'm happy to help. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell when you do so that you get notifications every week when I post a new video, which will be Wednesday. So today I'm talking about the 4 most obvious signs of anxiety during pregnancy. Okay, so I'm gonna outline those things that you really need to pay attention to that would let you know, okay, maybe there's some anxiety happening here and maybe I need some support. So let's jump into today's video. Now, I want to start by saying that anxiety and depression in pregnancy is just as common as it is postpartum. So that's something that people don't talk about. We don't seem to know that in our society. But study after study shows that the rates are actually the same. So if you're pregnant right now and you're feeling, new feelings and your mood is taking a hit and you're worried or you're feeling down, first of all, it's okay. You can get through this. There's so much out there and there's so much support for you. And every single symptom that you experience is treatable, okay? The other thing is it's more common than you think. And I think part of the issue is that people don't talk about this very much. But then what happens is mothers and pregnant women end up feeling very alone and scared, and they worry that something is wrong or bad or off about them. So that's what I'm here for today, to really walk you through some of the things you might be feeling, and then of course point you in some directions to get some more support. Okay, so let's jump into the 4 main symptoms of pregnancy anxiety, okay? So the first symptom that I want to draw your attention to is this is an anxiety symptom in general. So this is that feeling of like nervousness, feeling agitated and uneasy. So you might be wondering like, okay, what is anxiety? Well, that's the first thing I want you to notice. So I think most people can relate to an experience where they have felt nervous in the past, right? So it's that like kind of jittery, uneasy, uncomfortable feeling that's like often in your body. You can usually feel it in your body. And so the thing with anxiety is that you might feel that all the time or a lot of the time. So that's a bit different than, when you're giving a speech and you start to feel uneasy. Well, that's pretty, that makes sense. But the problem is when we feel that, all throughout the day, that is something that could indicate anxiety, okay? The second symptom that I want to talk about is more physical. So sometimes when you have anxiety, it shows up more in your body. Okay, so in addition to feeling that uneasy nervousness kind of feeling, you might also have some, things like stomach aches, digestive things happening like diarrhea or a lot of gas or pain in your body. Women also talk about feeling like a shortness of breath, right? Maybe it feels like you can't get enough air or you're gasping, you can't quite get enough. That can be a sign of anxiety as well. All right, so just notice as I'm going through these, if anything is standing out to you or if you feel like, oh yeah, that's me. Again, you are not alone. This is not your fault and you can get through this, okay? So the third symptom I want to talk about, this has to do with your thoughts. So sometimes in pregnancy and postpartum, you might have, and many moms do, really strange, peculiar, scary, maybe even like disturbing thoughts. So in the perinatal mental health world, we call these intrusive thoughts. And we call them that because they essentially just bombard your mind. You don't choose them. You don't want to think these things. Usually they're very disturbing or unwanted, sometimes super uncomfortable, gross, sad, upsetting, right? So these can feel really scary, and it's so important to talk about because so many moms experience this, but there's so much fear and shame around it that we don't talk about it. So I just want you to know that if you are having strange thoughts, disturbing thoughts, scary thoughts, it's so common and it doesn't mean anything bad about you. However, It often is a symptom of anxiety, okay? So I'll just briefly touch on it. I do have another video about intrusive thoughts that I'm gonna link to in the description, so make sure you check that out. Just briefly, I'll just cover the main topics of intrusive thoughts. So usually they come up around either yourself or your baby. Things that are like sometimes violent or gruesome, sometimes sexual as well. So some moms will have flashes of sexual thoughts about other people or even about their baby that are so disturbing. They are not what they would ever want, which is why they're so upsetting. So again, you don't choose these things. They just burst into your consciousness. And it doesn't mean anything bad about you, okay? The most important thing is to check out with yourself, are these thoughts in alignment with what I actually want, right? If you imagine that thought coming true, is that okay with you? Usually the answer is no, and that's why they're so disturbing, okay? So if it's not okay with you, if you would never want that thought to happen, then it's just an intrusive thought. It's just a sign, likely a sign of anxiety. It's nothing to worry about other than your discomfort with it. If, on the other hand, you feel like, yeah, I'd be okay with that happening, then that's a serious problem if those thoughts are dangerous, okay? And you must reach out for help if that's the case. But most often, they're not in alignment with what you want, and it's just a sign of anxiety, okay? Okay, so the fourth sign of pregnancy anxiety that I want to talk about is if you are spending a lot of time worrying about the future and possible outcomes. Okay, so this is a little bit different than intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are often like images or pictures that flash into your mind. The worrying is a bit different. It's when you're running scenarios or you're planning for this or planning for that, or if you catch yourself thinking like, what if this horrible thing happens? What if that happens? What if my boss doesn't give me the time off that I need? What if I have that nurse in the hospital and I really don't like that nurse? What if my mother-in-law does this thing? Or what if my partner doesn't know how to be a good dad next year, right? So it's thinking way down the road and then worrying about how that's gonna go. Okay, so there's a million different scenarios or different examples. It really depends on you and what's coming up for you. But just notice for yourself, am I thinking way down the road? Am I worrying, what if this, what if that? Okay, and I'll say that part of this is like, it's normal to plan and it's normal to think ahead and to anticipate. A little bit of it is okay. But if you're finding that you're getting stuck on it, that it's really hard to get back in the present, then it could be a sign of anxiety. All right, so those are the 4 signs that I have introduced to you. I just want you to notice in yourself what's coming up. Do you feel like, yeah, that pretty much describes what you're going through? If so, I'm gonna link to some resources in the description here. And I encourage you to reach out because this isn't something that you should have to deal with on your own, right? This is something that you absolutely deserve support with and that you actually can overcome, all right? And you're way more likely to get through it with some support and some connection, some information, some skills. That's gonna be so helpful for you. So I really encourage you to reach out if you're feeling like you resonate with some of the things that I've spoken about today. Of course, subscribe to my channel if this video was helpful for you. Make sure to hit the bell so that you get notifications on Wednesdays when I post. And again, let me know what you need help with. I'd love to create some really useful videos for you to support you in this journey. Thanks again for being here, and I hope to see you soon.